Kyrie was talking about his relationship with different guys and how he's able to kind of bring you here with him. Can you kind of talk about how you guys' relationship has built over the years and just what it's like now to be on the same team now and going forward for the next 4 years?
Yeah, man, we got to build that mutual respect for somebody, especially following them since high school, kind of following each other's careers. And it's very rare we could meet up at this point and have a decision in front of us where we can control our destinies. And we sat down and talked about it and what basketball meant to us as a whole. And, I think this is the perfect spot for us to hone our skills and continue to keep growing. So, it was one of those things you just it kind of happened organically, and we kind of moved just pretty smooth with it.
Kevin, Greg Logan of Newsday. Can you also tell us, he said that what better place to start than with the Nets and the core of guys they had grown. How did that discussion go? There was so much talk about you guys would go to the Knicks and so on. How did you wind up choosing the Nets themselves, and what did you see?
I mean, we're fans of basketball, and we know it pretty well, and it's really easy to see, what these guys brought to the table. So it's not like I had to do any deep analysis on any player here. I mean, just watching games and playing against them and seeing a continuity throughout the last couple of years is pretty easy to kind of figure out what kind of team this and kind of organization this place is.
Kevin, any team with cap space this summer, I'm sure would have loved to sign you, but it seemed like the Clippers, Golden State, the Knicks, and the Nets were those teams that were the serious suitors. How seriously did you consider the Clippers, Golden State, and the Knicks before you made your decision to come here?
I thought about it for a couple seconds and see how my life would look in all of those places for a minute, but ultimately I wanted to be here.
Hey, Kevin, Stephan Bonnie with the New York Daily News. A couple days ago, Sean was saying that the expectation of the team is that you will not play next season. I'm just curious, in your mind, what do you think? I mean, do you think that you can return this season, or do you even?
I mean, me and Sean have been in contact since day one, so if he says it, then it came from me. We came together and made sure that was the message. So, yeah, I mean, anytime he comes up here and says something, you don't have to ask me right after him because I'm going to say the same thing. That's how we thinking today. The same exact thing he said last week is what I'm thinking right now.
Kevin, Adam Zagoria from Forbes. How you doing? It seems like the NBA is more wide open, this year than in the past 5 or 6 years. There's no team that's favored to win it. Do you agree with that? Do you see that it's more wide open than it has been? And how do the Nets fit into that in the next couple of years, attempting to contend for a title?
Yeah, I just think the landscape is different. I wouldn't say more open. I think a lot of you guys probably favor the Clippers as the team to beat. Every year is a team to beat, team you think is going to win. But, just like last year, Toronto came out of nowhere, Milwaukee came out of nowhere after losing in the first round the previous year to be a finals contender. So each year I think teams are getting better and guys are improving, and also free agency, half of the league was free agents. So obviously there's going to be a landscape change when it comes to the dynamics of the league. So I just think the business of basketball is booming, and the league is always going to be great if the players continue to keep getting better, and you see it every day. So, you never know what you'll see coming in the future in the NBA, what type of players you'll see in the league. So every year I feel is wide open.
Kevin, Barbara Barker from Newsday. You said when you thought about other teams, you thought for a minute or two what your life might be like there. When you think about, what did you think when you thought what your life is going to be like in New York / Brooklyn, and what did you really like, both basketball and non-basketball, about being here?
I was doing a lot of YouTube research on like Kenny Atkinson and watching the interviews and see how he talked after games and stuff, and I really liked his approach to his craft as a coach, and that's what drew me in pretty quickly. I didn't really do too much research on other coaches, so I guess he always had the leg up. But once I started to get comfortable with how he approaches his craft, it started to make me feel at ease, even though I never even had a conversation with him. I could just see it through YouTube and through the clips that he was pretty genuine about the game. And, obviously the talks with Kyrie and then watching the team and no one cares, and all of this stuff kind of combined at once. And obviously being in the East Coast again was something I was really excited about, playing most of my basketball career either in like the Midwest or West Coast. So I was excited about being at least a few hours from home. So all that stuff played a factor, and I thought about it all. And, but basketball is probably the main factor.
Just before, Kyrie Irving talked about how you and DJ and he spoke at 4:16 in the morning the day of free agency. Can you tell us a little bit more about those conversations?
I mean, we just like, are we ready to do it? And everybody was like, yeah. I mean, it was really that simple. I tried to think of something deeper, but it really was that simple.
Kyrie, Joe Messeri, Pix 11 News. Obviously, you said basketball the main reason that you wanted to come here to Brooklyn, but all of the areas that you were considering pretty metropolitan areas. How much does being in the city for you and your brand impact where an NBA player goes in today's basketball?
Well, I just looked at how I came up in the league. I mean, I came into the league with a lot of expectations, having a good college career. So I came in kind of like with some popularity, if you would say. So market stuff really didn't matter coming up. Brand and stuff is only how I play on the court, and that's how I kind of looked at it. So if I play well on the court, then that stuff will follow. So it wasn't huge, but I also knew that, who I am right now, being in a big city like this, can do nothing but help my situation. You know what I'm saying? So I looked at that as well. So, I deserve to live in a good city. I've been in the league for 12 years, and I get to make a decision like this. Of course, I only looked at cities like that.
Howard Kasoy, New York Post. Kevin, you obviously were on one of the greatest teams of all time. You win a bunch of titles, and I guess how difficult was the decision to leave there? And I guess how important was it for you to have a new challenge? Did you feel like you had done all you needed to do there?
No, I didn't look at it that way. Every day is a challenge to stay at this level that I'm at. So I never looked at me switching teams as a new challenge. Every day I wake up, I got to fight against that standard I set for myself. But I felt like it was a time for a change, and I wanted to play for a new team, and simply put, I just did it. I didn't really think about what I was leaving behind or like what we accomplished. I put that up on the shelf already. And when it was time to make a decision on my future, I just thought solely about me.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.